Yeah. Record this shit. Say the things. Update them with the things. Anonymous.
Who's listening?
No one.
You see Batman yet?
No, and unfortunately, I haven't seen Spider-Man yet. But
Spider-Man
it did.
yet?
It
You see
has
Dune
dropped.
yet?
It has dropped, and it is on the schedule for this week.
I saw an
Spider-Man.
ad for it today, actually.
Spider-Man.
Ayo, ayo, Spider-Man.
Ayo, Spider-Man.
All right, everything's in. We're
let me
in,
get
and no one's here, and we're talking about in, and we're talking about that.
Let me cue up the news.
All right, I'm gonna cue this intro while you cue that.
Yep. Good Day Galaxy, Rogue Squadron, back at it again. I am Mopar.
Commander Cody.
Oh, what a way to start. So you put the Wilhelm scream on the short version?
I did. That's our old bumper from back in the day. We haven't changed it for a new name when we stole a name, and then we didn't steal a name.
Wilhelm. Let's see here.
You look at the history of the Wilhelm scream?
No.
Well, Good Day Galaxy.
Versus...
Hello, Witch Hunter.
What's the other scream?
What?
Yeah, exactly.
What are you talking about?
There's another scream. There's the Wilhelm. God, I wrote it down the one day.
Looks
It's
like
a
Witch Hunter
longer...
likes the Batman. That's good to hear. I just got a text from Tommy Boy. He doesn't seem very thrilled about it. So,
About Batman?
yeah. I was surprised. I loved it.
Wow.
You know how I am, though.
Yeah, I know how you
this
are.
is my new favorite thing. I'm never going to talk about anything else.
The new Batman?
And then it wears off. So that's how I felt about it the first time. Might need to see it again.
Wait, you saw it?
Yeah, I saw it. Saw it 2 weeks ago.
What's your like?
I didn't want to talk about it until you saw it because I know
Yeah.
you're a huge Bat fan.
Yeah,
And we frequently talk about things like Batman vs Superman and Batfleck and the things that we like that other people, whether they like them or not, we have our own opinions about things, which is good. So I was going to wait until you saw it to talk about it, but I thoroughly enjoyed it.
No, I understand. So to double back on the scream, so there's the Wilhelm scream,
Yes.
and then there's the Howie scream.
Huh. Okay. I don't know if I've ever heard or seen that before.
I know you've heard the Howie scream. You just don't know that.
Mm-hmm.
Look it up. Look it up right now. Mm-hmm. You know why I brought it up was it's a classic. Yeah, if you had got it on YouTube or something, bring it up and play it through the mic. Howie scream.
Howie scream. Okay.
Yeah, it should be like a 9-second. That's not it. That. So
Got
that is
it.
the Howie scream.
So
And it's been used just like the Wilhelm scream, where it's like across all media. It's across everywhere.
I've
where
heard it most primarily in Portlandia. They used it like 12 different times.
Oh,
and
really?
I never knew what it was from, and now I know. Thank you.
I see. I knew it from StarCraft. There's if you, it's one of the, if you're the Terrans, so if you're the humans, there's a certain military guy. When you create them, they scream like that because they come into the battle. But it's a crazy scream. Like Wilhelm's kind of goofy, but that one's like, whoa.
That's intense. And I'm looking at the comments thread on this YouTube video, and it says it was part of the Our Real Monsters theme song.
Oh, yeah.
And I obviously never would have looked up what scream is this when I was a kid, but yeah, now I'm remembering that. Yeah.
Wow.
That's
No,
hilarious.
it was random because I had heard that scream, I think on a movie or something recently. I was like, oh, I know that scream from StarCraft. So I went digging. Obviously, I Googled StarCraft scream, and then I was like, oh, wait, it's called the Howie scream, and it's everywhere.
Someone here also says it's the scream you hear in Star Wars Dark Forces when you fall off a very high platform.
Dark Forces. Huh.
Dark
That makes
Forces
sense.
1, I guess?
So
I
it's
don't
just
know.
embedded into my entire life. I don't fucking
I got to
know.
hear it again.
You have a weird... See, that's
the video I found is playing like the clip of the movie that it came from originally.
oh really? Because
So
it's
it's
actually
showing,
longer
like-
than that.
Yeah.
It,
Well,
that movie,
apparently I guess it came from like a sound effect or something, but that's like looks like a zombie movie.
yeah.
Fuck, man.
Oh man, yeah. I like
Hell
it.
Yeah, dude.
I like digging
it's
into
good to
the
know where the fuck things come from.
right. Well, I recognized it from somewhere else, and I was like, "Oh shit, the StarCraft scream!" And then, of course, I'm an idiot because StarCraft pulled it from elsewhere.
And they pulled it from a sound effects library. So we got to really trace this back to the person that recorded that sound effect.
Yep.
Whatever Foley artist recorded that shit back originally. I want to know about it. So, anyways, happy Monday, everybody. Episode 295. Yeah, I think so.
290 something.
So, we're here. Ready to talk about what? I'm not going to talk about Batman. We'll talk about Kenobi a little bit. I have some horrible news from Mopar. And then he said, you have some fun thing for me to talk about?
I have
Retro
some.
stuff?
I have some new news,
Okay.
new retro news. So buckle in. We can start with that because it is really fun.
Let's start on a positive, yeah.
So I recently saw. You guys know I'm a huge Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle fan.
Yes.
They are coming out with. Konami is coming out with TMNT the Cowabunga Collection.
Ooh.
So what this is going to entail is 13 classic TMNT games, ranging from like the original arcade game to the NES games to the Super Nintendo to the Sega Genesis, and finally the Game Boy. There's 3 Game Boy games, and I think
Nice.
3 of these games were never like officially released.
Sweet.
But it's going to be on pretty much every platform, Xbox all the way through Steam. But it'll be, I guess, $40, and you get the whole bundle of 13 games.
This is
so
good news.
I am 100% gonna purchase this immediately. The classic one, the arcade game that you and I used to play on my NES. And then
I
there's
never played that with you.
Oh yeah, I did.
Yeah. Sorry. When we rebought NESs when we were teenagers. Sorry.
Maybe.
I thought you meant like back during the kid days.
Well, there was the Turtles in Time. There was, and I've never played TMNT 3, the Manhattan Project, but that was also on NES. And then there was also, I guess, a fighting game, Tournament Fighters NES. So, but there's some titles in here I've never heard of. The Hyperstone Heist, which I'm assuming that might have been one that was never released.
Okay.
The Fall of the Foot Clan. So these are the 3 Game Boy games. The Fall of the Foot Clan, Back from the Sewers, and Radical Rescue.
Interesting.
So
Okay.
there's a lot of turtle news, man. I'm fucking hyped.
So that's one that, despite how much I love the Turtles, I didn't have one of the games back when I was a kid. So I actually didn't play any Ninja Turtles game until we were like 16, 17.
Oh,
and
wow.
we went to that old retro game store and like got all those old, that place in Willoughby that we used to go to?
Oh yeah.
Like the only one that we could find, and we would
I
just buy
remember-
like old NES games and shit. And
Well, I
you
remember
show
you-
me like Turtles too. That's the first time I played it.
Well, when I was growing up for the NES, I had the first Turtles, which was an overhead view, and you walked around overhead view almost like a dungeon crawler. But then when you entered a sewer, it became a side scroller.
Yep.
One of the hardest games I never even got close to beating it. It was one of the most frustrating hard games, and it was just laggy, very laggy. It was not a smooth game. Now the second one was the most played one, where it's just a straight side scroller, but it's like a Streets of Rage,
Yep.
where it's kind of like a tilted road and you go up and down, and
And that's the one I played with you.
that's the one pretty much everybody's played. But the one that you and I played on the emulator that we got later in like high school was Turtles in Time.
And that was
That
for Super Nintendo?
That was for NES and SNES and Genesis. I think it was it just crossed for many years. So
And I believe, Shinobi says Ninja Turtles was a must whenever you went to the arcade.
yeah,
I had played it at the arcade, and I think that's the Super Nintendo one that was... Like, there was an X-Men game, the Super Nintendo. There was a bunch of stuff that was, like, arcade games. I remember playing them at, like, the roller rink back in the day.
No,
And they were
Rampage.
also console.
Rampage,
Yep.
fucking Rampage.
Yep.
That
Gauntlet.
no joke, Rampage is one of the worst games ever, but because it was there at the time, and it was just like, I'm done skating, I'm fucking done, and let's go blow up some buildings, as an ape. So it was like, fuck yeah. But you go back
or
and
a
play those
giant
games.
wolf or a fucking
Yeah.
T-Rex or whatever.
You go back and play those games, and they're pretty bland. It was like fun to just like blow up a city as a little thing. So.
Yeah, a lot of those old games were, just wash, rinse, and repeat, and sometimes they made them hard on purpose. You had to replay the thing over and over again.
Yeah.
Which made you feel like the game took a long time to beat, but in reality, there's like six levels or something, some crazy shit like that.
Yeah,
where it's just like super basic and just copy paste. But
I will say the TMNT
fun.
2 was a very long game. In my own head, I thought it was a very long game because I would play through even like Mario. You have like eight worlds in Mario. Even Mario 3, which is the most famous. I think there's 9 worlds in that one.
Yeah.
TMNT 2. I mean, you're right. There probably could have been 9 or 10, and it just felt longer. Yeah, I don't know.
Right.
You could be right.
Well, it depends on how long you replay it. That's what I mean. Like, I remember that the first boss that you come across, like, always gave me trouble. So if you die there, you got to start back at the beginning. And now by the time you beat the first boss, it feels like you've been playing for like
so
2 or 3 hours.
frustrating. And they're true. Even if it's not a quote unquote dungeon crawler, that's what they all felt like.
Right.
Like, just to get through a level, it was going to take you 15 minutes.
Yeah.
That's in a stretch, but still, you could fly through. I don't know what I'm talking about.
Speaking of dungeon crawlers, you know what I would love? Is a modern day Gauntlet Legends.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, I've
Isn't
heard
that
from
what Dark Souls is?
Dark Souls now.
I mean, I can join your game and we can go dungeon crawling.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm talking about
You want overhead view.
overhead 4-player. Now, I've heard from some fans that that's what Diablo is in a certain sense, but that the new Diablos have kind of sucked ass. Like, I heard that 3 and the expansion were not very good, and then they went to, I think the next Diablo is mobile only or something. And
Really?
Fans are pissed about it, but if there's a Diablo 4, on the horizon, that is something that I might be interested in. Because I gotta say, man, that Gauntlet Legends, and then the one that they remade for like Xbox and added a couple we've talked about this so many times, but I don't care because I haven't played it in forever.
Dark Legacy? Gauntlet Legends Dark Legacy?
It might have been that one, yeah.
That's it? It's for PlayStation 2 and Xbox.
Yeah. Dude, put some hours into that game. Because I remember they took all the best stuff from N64 and the arcade one, but then they added a couple new worlds. Like, remember there was, maybe it was a swamp area, and I know they added like an Egypt area. There was a whole bunch of pyramids and shit. Man, it was just so good. Grindy and so good.
It kind of like button mashy, but also you can explore a little bit. It's like, okay, that's kind of
and you could
all I
upgrade.
need.
There's a shop at the end of the level. You could buy stuff and you could upgrade your spells.
That's true.
And you had the different classes, Wizard and Valkyrie and Barbarian and whatnot.
The cover for Gauntlet Dark Legacy is kind of goofy.
Oh, I'm sure.
I mean, it was the Xbox version, but yeah, I don't know. I do not know.
I just want a game like that. Not that I should ask for games right now because I'm having plenty of fun with Elden Ring. I don't think I'll be bored of that for a long time, but which is good. With the way that games have been coming out and released the past like 6 years, basically since. I don't know when the start of this whole modern gaming atrocities was, but I'm going to, as a Star Wars fan, I'm going to trace it back to Battlefront 2015. The first next-gen Battlefront after they went all the way out to the snow, took all the pictures of all the AT-ATs and TIE fighters and whatnot. Since then, I feel like I've been continually disappointed by games for a while.
I mean, yeah, the games that you play, yeah, absolutely.
I mean, any game. Any game that I've tried, any new one.
I've been blown away by all the Far Cries. I've been blown away by
Far Cry.
Titanfall 2. I've played so many new games that you haven't touched.
That's true.
I mean, hey, did you ever finish Fallout 4?
I didn't finish Fallout 4. No.
That was a great game.
But did that come out before or after that? I wonder.
Blasphemous. That's an
indie game. I wouldn't count
it's
that
still
in the atrocity. I'm talking about AAA gaming disappointments is what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So I think all the Call of Duty people really like Warzone, so I guess maybe that one doesn't count.
Yeah.
But I feel like a lot of the Call of Duties have been a letdown. Battlefield 4 came out before that, so I wouldn't include that.
True.
But apparently 2042, you haven't
It's
even
hard,
turned it on
man.
yet.
Fuck, it's so hard. And that's something where I'm just gonna have to go through like the training of it and just
Yeah.
learn the guns because there's so many options that.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
Battlefront 2, that had all of its whole goddamn issues. We ranted and raved about that. Cyberpunk was a whole thing. I think the new Call of Duty is a whole thing. Everyone's kind of pissed about that. They went back to World War II and it's garbage. But it's just good to play a game that had hype built around it and it like lived up to and exceeded the hype. And it's just a fucking solid, beautiful work of art game. So it feels good. It feels good to play it and not be disappointed.
I'm literally Googling. I feel like I'm 100 years old. I just Googled best modern video games because I'm truly
Type in best arcade
curious
games.
of what like someone would consider modern. First, of
I'm
all.
sure I'm boiling that down too far. I'm just talking about like the last 6-7 years. I feel like it's just a lot of build up, hype, and then microtransaction disappointment.
Well, and
I'm sure I'm oversimplifying it, but that's what I mean.
to your point, you look at Mass Effect, what they tried to do with Andromeda, and it just a swing and a miss. And now they just redid the old ones.
Yeah, and I know you push back on me on Titanfall and Far Cry. I've never played those, and I think there's been some good Assassin's Creed games and stuff, but you will admit there's been so much in the past couple of years of us just going back and playing old games like Skyrim Anniversary. Awesome. I had nothing but good things to say about that. But again, I'm playing a game that's 10 years old. We're talking about re-releasing TMNT games from the 80s and 90s.
It's true.
Like, come on. You know how it is.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you, but there are games that I've played in the past that have come out in the past 5-6 years that.
For sure.
Oh sure.
For sure, dude. But anyways.
And look at like what Minecraft has become. It's like holy shit.
Right.
Timeless.
Right. No, Minecraft is quite an accomplishment. But it came out before then. So I rest my case. So this all circles back to two things. One, Elden Ring is awesome. Everyone should play it. You should play it. I hope you play it.
Overwatch?
Overwatch is... I stepped into Overwatch a little bit later, and I liked it a lot. But from what I've heard in the community, there was some annoyance at the beginning because it was heavy on microtransactions. That's what all the loot boxes are. So people were pissed about that. And then now, obviously, we're in this endless waiting game for Overwatch 2. It's been talked about for like 3 years. But, yes, I do love the game. I haven't touched it in 9-ish months. I think I'm just going to wait for Overwatch 2 at this point. But
yeah.
I do dig it.
Yeah.
But the other thing, I can dig it. And the other thing this is circling back to is my bad news that I had to share for you.
WrestleMania 2000.
Fuck, dude. Can we get a remake of that, please? Like,
exactly. I want it to be equally as bad.
Building your wrestler and putting him in a fucking like samurai suit.
I remember you would build, like one of us would build the skinniest fuck and then the other one would build the fattest fuck and we'd just go at it. Just for no reason at all. So, whatever. All right, bad news. Go ahead.
I used to be into wrestling and that was a fun game. Spent so much time on that.
Who's your favorite wrestler back in the day?
The Rock, for sure.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. I get that for the reason of WrestleMania 2000 because The Rock was very prominent, but I would never go against The Undertaker. He was always my favorite.
Well, I guess it changed because The Rock, I don't remember all of my wrestling history, but he didn't even show up until like the late 90s.
Yeah.
And then he kind of like took WWF by storm, so he became my favorite, but before then I think it was... I probably would have said Mankind before that.
Yeah, Mankind's, yeah.
And then I started loving The Rock, and I loved them both, and then they had that epic cage match where Mankind almost died, and then it was like, fuck.
Who, the...
Mankind and The Rock, they had that epic cage match. Where
no, it was Undertaker and Mankind.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Am I doing
the cage
like the
match where
thing?
he cage match where he choke slams him off the top of the cage.
Yeah.
That's Undertaker and Mankind.
All right, well, that was fucking sweet anyways.
I mean, I potentially could be misremembering as well.
There is
but
something with Mankind and The Rock. I remember.
Yeah, that's a whole path we don't even need to go down because I'm not I wasn't even like into it that much back then. I just, we would play the games, and so I was like, oh, I'll watch, Undertaker beat someone up tonight, and that's about my extent of the knowledge. Macho Man Randy Savage is another favorite of mine. Thank you, Shinobi.
That was
and
always
Goldberg.
fun.
I always like Goldberg because he's a Mopar guy.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Actually, if you go to Dodge.com right now, I'm sure Goldberg is on the front. I'm not even joking because they're like hiring some people to be representatives, Mopar representatives.
Well,
and
they should talk to you.
They know me. I'm on the list somewhere.
They had to license the name from you.
Yeah, they had to ask. But yeah, Hulk Hogan. Yeah, there's definitely some classics out there. Junkyard Dog.
And now there's so many people that I feel like have crossed over to Hollywood, and because I don't know anything about wrestling, I see them in movies. Like I didn't know John Cena was a wrestler for a long time because I haven't watched it in forever. So like I see him in memes or like in movies, and then I'm like, oh wait, I got to tie it back to the to where he started from. And like Dave Bautista even. Like we had a wrestling before then.
Stone Cold, jeez, you guys are throwing out some big names that I'm just like completely blank. Yeah, I just can blank.
Yeah, I probably. It would be between Mankind, Stone Cold, and The Rock. I think, out of all the people that I like.
I always liked The Rock, but I was never into him like that. I always like the character-esque ones where it's Mankind, where he's just a crazy man, right? What the fuck? And then Undertaker or Kane, like he was just like living dead. You're like,
Undertaker's
what the fuck is
evil
this guy?
brother. Isn't it the same person?
No.
Okay.
No.
There was antics like that.
They were supposed to be brothers,
right?
I think, but no, it wasn't the same person because they fought each other.
Oh yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Or something.
All right, moving on. They didn't have CGI back then.
They couldn't. Yeah.
And then fucking Vince McMahon gets into the shit, and he's his own character within his own little world of wrestling.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Vince McMahon, that's the guy that made it all happen.
Didn't Donald Trump wrestle somebody at some point?
I hope so. Oprah? I don't
feel like he got thrown out of the ring at some point. I don't know. Oprah. No, now we're thinking of 90s fucking talk shows.
Rosie O'Donnell.
Rosie O'Donnell. Oh, man. This is not a wrestling podcast.
All right, moving on. What's your terrible news that I'm going to...
Sorry, I know you want to move on, but now I'm thinking, like, I kind of want to go back and watch some, like, WWF highlights, though.
I'm telling you, watch the cage match between Mankind and Undertaker. It's one of the best things, because he literally... There's some stuff that happens in there, obviously, that's not supposed to happen. Like, he's supposed to... So, Undertaker choke slams Mankind on the top of the ring. The ring gives out. The chain gives out, so he falls all the way like 15 feet. And he continues to fight. And it's like, that was a mistake.
It's fucking... That's why I was so mad. And seeing that live, you don't know. You're just like, oh my God.
And at one point...
When you're 10, you're like, you don't know it's acting. You're just like, oh my God.
Right. And at one point, I think Mankind throws tacks or like, I don't know, something on the ground. And then, of course, you get choke slammed on top of the tack. So there's blood and I think he broke a leg or something. It's fucked. And he just kept going.
Dude.
They were all hopped up on shit, so they don't fucking...
I want to live back in that world for like just a couple hours. Just watch a couple old matches and like, get the nostalgia out and then be done with it.
I woke up my old roommate, like it was like 2:30, 3 a.m., and I was watching YouTube videos, and I came across the Mankind Undertaker match, and I literally woke my roommate up just to watch it. He was dead asleep, and I was like, dude, you got to see this shit. He woke up and was so happy that I did. He's like, oh, I remember this.
Dude, flashbacks, man.
Yeah.
It's good shit. All right, I got bad news. People, Star Wars fans probably seen this. This came out like 2 weeks ago. But anyways, apparently Star Wars Eclipse is not going to come out for a very long time. And it might not come out at all.
Are we surprised?
Well, we saw the trailer. We were just so hyped for this.
Just stop talking.
Like,
just stop talking.
Hey, it's going to be... No. You
none
were
of this
hyped too.
None of this matters.
You were hyped more than
me.
me.
But there's a cap. There's always a cap. There's always a lid on my hype because of this stupid shit.
The cap was off that day. You were juiced. That's
what needs to happen.
But
they finally, it's almost like they recognized it. Regardless if it's happening or not, they're like, oh, We need something refreshing,
But they
brand
didn't.
new, a customizable game, and we'll dangle it. We'll even get this. We'll create a website and we'll put some pictures on it. And then we'll say, fuck them.
But if it
And they're-
never comes out, then does it all matter? Does it matter at all?
It's. I mean, you're right. I'm pissed about it, but there's always reservations in my hype because they do this shit. So
Well, that's what has me worried about Kenobi. Like, that's what we were talking about last week. I'm like, goddamn, the trailer looks great, but with everything that's been happening, I almost don't want to get too excited because,
how are they?
they could fumble. But yeah, so they were talking about if Eclipse does come out, it could be basically there was like concepting. This is what I'm gathering. There was concepting and the trailer creation and like a very small bit of world building. They make the trailer, they get everyone hyped, but the game hasn't even fucking started yet.
They haven't even started building it. Yeah, they
So it's gonna
literally
be like-
created the trailer. That's all they did.
2027 is what they're saying. It's like earliest. Like, dude, Star Wars is going to be a totally different thing by then.
So they're delayed to 2027. It says Quantic Dream struggles to hire for Star Wars Eclipse.
Yeah.
So not only is it going to take 100 years to make, they can't find people. Are they not paying enough? Is that it? Like Disney's just like, hey, make this game $50, bitch. And everyone's like, what? I
No
can
idea,
make
man.
I can make $60 billion making a goddamn Call of Duty again. You're gonna pay me what? Deteries? What of that?
The money's no good here, Kathy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what the problem is, but fuck, man. It's just frustrating. I think they're trying to do, well, because they got Lucasfilm Games now. They rebranded LucasArts, and it's not, it's like they tried to ship everything to EA, and they're just like, you guys do games full time, so you do all this shit. And then they fucked up, so Disney had to take it back, and maybe now they're trying to like manage it themselves and like farm out this game to this studio and this game to this studio, and they just can't handle that. I don't know, but they should be able to. I mean, LucasArts was around for a long time, so I don't know what's up.
It's, you know what?
They should just
You
give it
know-
to Dark Souls. Let them do it.
After watching Dune and seeing that, like that's the potential. That's exactly the potential. And I'm not joking. I talked to someone at work who's, let's just call him 50-something. He's an old nerd, 50-something, saw the Dune in the 80s, enjoyed it.
The Dune.
Whatever, Dune in the 80s, the first one. He asked me, hey, Paul, have you seen the new Dune movie? I said, yeah, but before I say anything, how did you like it? He said, I thought it was one of the most... He said it was like the greatest cinematic thing he's ever seen. And I was like,
Thank you.
yeah. I didn't want to hype it up like in front of him. I wanted to hear his true, because I was just like, yeah, this is fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, it's hard to get the full reactions out of people these days. I almost don't want to say anything at all. Just like,
Right,
I didn't
because as
see
soon as I
anything.
hype it up, they're going to change their tone.
Right, exactly.
But I wanted to see, and I was like, it's good. Look, that says something. We're 30-somethings, and he's 50-something. There's a 20-year gap, and we both were like, that was fucking amazing.
yeah.
So they did something right. My point being, even outside of the Marvel side, which we praise constantly, there are one-offs that are like, dude, the fuck are they doing over there? Because let's get a bit of that. What the fuck, guys?
yeah.
We're Disney. What the fuck? I don't know.
And I mean, Marvel's not all perfect. That's for sure. I mean, there's definitely things
Right.
to. I wouldn't, as a Marvel fan, I wouldn't say pass on, but there are definitely things that, if you're not going to go balls deep and watch everything, there are things that you can skip.
Well, consider this.
Yes.
With Disney's recent track record, specifically with Star Wars,
Yes.
if they go out of their way to get one of these super creative directors, what says the director wants to be a part of this? If every time that if someone gets hired on, things get changed and switched, and all of a sudden you can't make the movie you were supposed to make.
Right,
and all,
because
it's
now
like-
they have all this baggage around it.
Right, exactly.
So
That's what I'm
they've gotten
saying.
to a certain point where it's almost kind of hard to dig yourself out of that hole.
Right, because who wants to work for you? If you're that hard to work with,
Right.
people have left your movies.
Yeah.
That's not good. I mean, I know that happens, and it has happened, but
Right.
it's constant, seemingly. And
Yeah,
it's not
too-
only the movies now.
Too
We're
much
looking
pre-
at video games being
Yeah.
dropped or delayed or all this shit. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, it's okay. I was just gonna chime in and just say like too much bad press kind of starts to like write its own. Like things probably aren't that bad at Lucasfilm,
Right.
But with enough bad press, and then Boba Fett, and then this game gets pushed back, then it kind of starts to create
they
its own little.
Canceled
ecosystem
Rogue
of
Squadron. What the
Yeah.
fuck is happening?
bad. We're still here. What are you talking about?
We're the only thing here. We're the only thing left.
We're the only true constant in the Star Wars.
Holy
fandom.
shit. We're the denominators of life.
How do we not have our own movie yet? God damn it.
Oh man, I'm still hyped for you to watch Dune. I can't sing its praises enough. I was just entertained beginning to end, and it was a weird ending because it's only part one, so it wasn't like a full like, hoorah, we did it. It was like a middle ground, and you're like, ooh, I can't wait. So
Yeah.
Shinobi, I'm sorry, you're probably referring
He
to the
says
Rogue
it's not
Squadron.
canceled.
I
Yeah.
know it's just delayed to 30/30/30, so I don't fucking know anymore.
That's how far we're gonna need a goddamn time machine to see Rogue One, Rogue Squadron.
But yeah, you know what I'm
30.
saying.
I'm gonna title the episode that. Is that okay? 30.
It's delayed to 30/30/30.
That's the next Star Wars episode 10 is coming out in year 3000 and a half.
Yeah, it was a visual masterpiece. I agree, Davey. Yeah, it was a visual masterpiece in a very unique way because everything was dusty and brown and dark, the whole movie, and then there was little splotches of like they would show plants, like rare plants growing on the in the sand.
Mm-hmm.
And they were vividly green, but that was like the only thing. Even the people were dusty and beige and like the whole movie. But it was,
Sounds like A New Hope.
yeah, it does. It does have obvious Tatooine vibes, but it just feels different all at the same time.
Mm.
Like they made a sand planet feel different.
Good.
That's
Star Wars hasn't been able to do that yet.
no, they haven't.
Maybe
No,
they
they
will with
haven't.
Kenobi. I think this is their last chance. And then they better not go to Tatooine ever. I don't want to talk about it. It's done.
Everything else
Forget
happens
about
on Jakku.
Like, I mean, all the places that we've seen and you can reuse and we can go back to over and over again, like, go back to fucking Coruscant, man.
Dude, there's so many cool... Yeah, I know we've talked about the planets. There's so many opportunities. Or let's say, create your own fucking new one. I don't know.
See, I'm actually sick of that. I'm actually sick of them making new shit. There's apparently...
Just give me Darth Vader over and over and over,
How
dude.
can we complain about the nostalgia that they just... I don't want them to make anything new.
Nothing new, please.
No, as far as planets go, that's one thing that keeps bugging me. Like, and it's been happening since episode 7. Like, hey, here's a deserted sand planet with scavengers and fucking farmers. It's not
Yeah.
Tatooine, though. It's Jakku. And then they go back to a sand planet in goddamn Rise of Skywalker. They have to go find this mystery on this sand planet, and they get stuck under the sand. It's not Tatooine, though, guys. It's Pisana. See it? Travis Pastrana. It's a new planet. Get it? There's sand.
I mean, there's just a lack of creativity. Like
But
let's just go back to Dust. Dust always sells, right? Bunch of it.
Dust always does sell. I don't know why. But what I was trying to get out of that whole rant about please stop making new stuff is they have so many planets that they've created and there's like really interesting concepts around and they've only explored like a very, very small sliver of the planet and I feel like they could go more in depth. Like there's, I think in a recap of the Kenobi trailer that I was watching, one of the planets that he goes to where you see all the neon signs and shit, apparently that's a brand new planet. I was like, that could just be like Nar Shaddaa, or it could
Yeah.
be Coruscant, or it could be like
Yeah.
this whole new city on this planet that you've never like gone to before.
Even in
but it's
Boba
established.
Fett, even in Boba Fett, we see the Halo ring. We see the forest planet that Luke and Grogu are training on. We do see it.
True. That's
Give me
true.
old stuff and new stuff, but never new stuff. Don't give me new stuff, but I'm tired of seeing old stuff, so give me some fresh
I
stuff.
want new old stuff.
New
It's
old.
really,
Okay,
it's really simple. It's really easy. I want new old stuff.
gotcha.
But
I know, I understand.
Hopefully, I made a smithering of sense. In
Well,
that whole rant.
all this to say, Eclipse is never coming out.
I don't think so. I'm not going to get hyped for it, and I'm not going to get hyped for any Star Wars video games. I think I saw a gameplay reveal of Star Wars Hunters, and I just scrolled right past it. Which is a bad sign. I'm just like, I'm not even like, with everything else, I'm like, I'm not even excited to watch this.
Hey,
it's like a cartoony battle royale game on Switch, I think.
I got some random theory stuff for you.
It's not about Palpatine. Somehow he didn't return.
Actually, I watched episode 6
it always
recently.
comes back to Palpatine.
You know, so you see Luke in the Imperial shuttle, and with his band of freaks, and they're landing on the Forest Moon.
Yeah,
and he's saying, "I shouldn't have come. You know, it was a mistake." Vader immediately goes to the Emperor after that scene and says, "A small rebel force has landed on the Forest Moon," and mentions that his son is with them because he has felt it.
Yep.
The Emperor quotes, or not quote, but something along these lines says, "That's strange because I haven't felt it." And I was like, oh, I don't think I've ever paid hard attention to the Emperor being a little, I don't know, in the dark, per se with that. I was like, oh. So I've never really thought about like what was transpiring that he missed Luke landing on the fucking neck, the closest.
I mean, it could have been something as dumb as Vader was closer.
So
like
he's just
Vader
like,
was like in the ship that was like allowing them to pass through the blockade and like land on the planet.
He's like he just senses a Skywalker in that direction. He's like, oh, that's probably Vader.
I mean, he
that's
has he has half of Anakin's DNA. Like he passes for Vader pretty much, right?
Yeah.
And Anakin only has half of his DNA left anyways because he's only half of a human.
Or maybe there's only enough Luke to feel, and Vader felt it all. I don't know. I'm trying, guys. I don't know.
Like he has a gauge of being felt through the Force and it got used up by Vader?
Yeah. No, it was just, I hadn't paid attention to that dialogue. Like, it was just kind of in one ear, out the other, and I was like, okay, yeah. Surprise, he's here.
I guess he's probably got so many things to focus on that, it's hard to argue that a couple things will slip under the radar of Palpatine, but I feel like at that point he has so many things to focus on. There's like a Rebel Armada is coming at you, and you have the Forest Moon, and you have Luke, and you have Darth Vader, and you have
it is the first
Death
time
Star is not being built.
Well, it was the first time that he lands on a Death Star. So maybe it was literally the Death Star itself, because isn't it supposed to be running off of Jedi blood or some shit? I don't fucking know.
I think they did. All the corpses of the younglings are in the core of the Death Star.
They're squeezing them out, wringing them out. But yeah.
Dude, I just got a creepy-ass thought. Like a horror film style Star Wars thought of like, what if they reanimated all of the Jedi that they killed and like turned them into like Sith clone warriors.
Dark Jedi.
Yeah, fuck that. Since the very beginning.
Davey says the whole missing Luke, not feeling it, was maybe to imply that Anakin's light side was resurfacing.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Probably. It's still dripping out a little bit throughout the movie. Little bits of Anakin's coming back.
Yeah, obviously at the end of episode 5, he reveals himself. I'm your father.
Who is
Cuts
he?
his goddamn hand off, throws him down the chute, and then literally an hour later, he confronts him on Endor and doesn't kill him right away. I mean, yeah, I don't know. The end of 6 there is some compelling stuff. It's one of my least favorites, but the end of it there's a lot there.
Yeah, it's a conundrum of like, there's these couple scenes that are just so fucking good, you want to watch it, even though it's kind of padded by a bunch of nonsense.
Yeah.
Kind of like Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah.
They're
it's definitely goofy.
Definitely goofy.
The other thing that I wrote down after watching episode 6 was C-3PO is the key again, because he's the golden god to the Ewoks, who's
Is he the key in the third in Revenge of the Sith too? Then that would complete the trilogy or the saga.
He stays on Coruscant with Padme.
Just watch the temple burn. Just oh no, oh dear.
He's just recharging her PSP so she can play it later. About all
she can
she's-
fucking sext with Obi-Wan.
Oh, it's been him the whole time.
There was something else going on there. You think? Let's continue on this Obi-Wan thread. How much do you think they're gonna like tweak in the Kenobi show? Like, it's just talking about like retcon and things like that.
You know what I was thinking is,
Like something as simple as like Obi-Wan actually knew more than he was letting on throughout the prequels. He just didn't say anything because he loved Anakin. Like they could do like small retcons like that. You know what I mean?
yeah. Well, the biggest one that I've thought about, but also I came across someone else talking more in depth about it, was when in episode 6, right after Yoda dies, Ben shows up and says, well, then the Emperor's already won if you don't do it. Leia's my sister. But he also explains that Anakin is more machine now than man.
Yep.
And I feel like something has to happen for him to realize that.
Yeah, you don't really think about that after. I mean, I'm sure some people have. I never really thought too much about that line. Seeing the prequels, seeing the original trilogy, I'm like, he saw him get cut up. He didn't see him turn into any. Well, no, he does. They fight in 4. You goofball.
You goofball. I'm just saying, he could be referring to another time before he fucking died.
Yeah, I guess you see him in like the giant black suit. You don't necessarily know that he's mechanized. You just know that he's wearing a mask now.
I don't know. It's just a random thought.
Yeah.
Shinobi's commenting on how Luke was incognito to Emperor, and he's
Private
saying
browser
just that.
tab.
Luke has been practicing more in concealing himself in the Force, which is kind of cool because he cuts himself completely off in Episode 8, so it's almost along the same vein.
Yeah.
But he does conceal himself physically, obviously, at the beginning of the movie when he walks into Jabba's palace.
Yeah, he was using the VPN.
He said, "Bitch, I could be here.
I might be here. Someone's here.
Someone's here."
How do you do? You get different kinds of feelings when you see the Jabba's palace scene in Episode 6?
Now that I've seen Boba Fett, or what do you?
Oh, I shouldn't have said different. Just does that stir up like the nostalgia for you? The whole first like 30, 40 minutes? Because I've always been so critical of that scene and the fact that it takes so long, and Jabba's a giant pile of shit and this and that. But one of the things that always glues me in Episode 6 is just the world building and the vibe of like Jabba's palace. Like, just feels so Star Wars to me. I love the beginning of that movie.
Well, it's the splash of a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
We see Bib
Characters that I don't
Fortuna.
remember.
Bib Fortuna. We get to see a hut for the first time. We get to see Gamorreans for the first time. We get to see a sand palace back on the planet we started on. We get to see a Sarlacc. We get to see a Rancor. The list goes on and fucking on.
Mm-hmm.
And we haven't even left the first planet. We're still back on Tatooine.
Right.
Yeah, I like it. But that's what I disliked again about Boba Fett. That instead of like the weird sand beast in the first episode, while that was awkward, I also thought that was really cool because it's like, oh, cool, another beast I can like look up history on, that they just created.
Yeah.
But the rest of it was Gamorreans and Rancor and Sarlacc and Jabbas and all these. And I'm like, dude,
Yep.
can you bring anything new in? I know it's Tatooine, but even Episode 6 said, "Fucking let's throw the shit." Yeah, the new stuff everywhere. I don't know. We got to see a fucking band, a brand new band. Dancing Twi'leks. Did we even see Twi'leks in Episode 4 or 5? I don't think so.
I've actually Twi'leks to me are like
Episode
the
1.
second thing after humans. They're like the most popular alien. So I've never really thought too much about it.
I know there's not one in Episode 5 because there's
They
not
ju-
one on Hoth and there's not one on Dagobah, obviously, and then
Yeah,
Bespin.
they've just always been a thought They've just always been a part of Star Wars.
Is there?
I don't know.
I guess that's a good question. Is there a Twi'lek? Maybe in the cantina in Episode 4.
Someone chime in. Shinobi knows.
Shinobi knows.
He has all the movies memories. Yeah, to the Boba Fett thing, it's like I'll push back on you a little bit. I did feel like they gave me what I was asking for in don't like recreate and like make a whole bunch of brand new stuff. Just put a new spin on things that we already are familiar with. Like the whole Mafia Council with the Trandoshans and the Klatooinians and whatever that other species was, I can't remember. That was like a nice touch of like, these fringe species in Star Wars that we've seen a little bit of, not too much. They kind of bring them together in Maz Espa. They're all crime lords, whatever. Like that was like a really cool touch, I think, in Boba Fett. Twi'lek's first seen in 6, people say in the chat.
Yeah, I was just looking up the list here.
It is like, I'm not wrong. I'm not the only one that feels like that's like the most popular Star Wars alien, right? Like I feel like it's humans, Twi'leks, Duros probably, or maybe Rhodians. I don't know.
Rhodians, yeah.
You just think of like Bib Fortuna and Greedo, and Yoda obviously, but we don't know his species, and he's the only one, so that doesn't count. Well, I guess not anymore, but whatever. What do you got predictions for Mando season 3 at all? Have you thought about that?
So I have some news before I predict something.
Oh.
For Mando season 3, did you see that Christopher Lloyd joins the cast for season 3?
No, I did not. That's exciting.
Yeah, Christopher Lloyd's definitely one of those.
He's a true savage.
Yeah, unique savages.
Yeah,
he's always played weird stuff and just done so well at it. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see what he can do. He is a bit old.
He's like 90, isn't he?
Yeah, he's pretty fucking old. But yeah, that's a kind of a random side note. I saw that pop up yesterday. So,
and I saw also that Carl Weathers is confirmed to be back as what's his face. I don't know how many episodes that's going to be, but that does mean Mando will probably be linking up with his old clan, minus Cara Dune. I suspect they'll just write her out of the show.
Cara Dune. I don't know.
She fell off of the cliff there. She's dead.
Yeah, that big deep crevice.
She got jettisoned into space. Sorry.
Oh yeah, she got pushed into a Sarlacc again. No, I season 3
again. She's been in Sarlacc before. She got out. Boba Fett went in twice. What the fuck? Why not?
Boba Fett.
I can't believe he jumped back in. Sorry, go ahead. I got distracted by the Sarlacc.
Cinematically, I really enjoyed watching that the seismic charge go into the Sarlacc, but that was completely ridiculous.
Yeah, that was one of those episodes where it's like, just I know they're together. They're a team. Move on. Give me something new. That was a bad example of the showing me stuff I already know in a different way.
Don't give me new stuff.
Let's see. New old stuff, guys. Come on.
Mando season 3. Let me just Google it. I mean, short of it, I have no idea where they're going to go with it.
Yeah.
Grogu's back. He's got his chainmail. He's got a new ship that he got in Boba.
They might explain it away in the first episode, but that is still such a weird choice to me.
Yeah.
All of season 2 builds towards him finding Grogu the proper home and being trained as a Jedi. And then while Book of Boba Fett's happening, Grogu comes back.
Yeah.
So season 3 is going to start and they're going to be back together. It's so fucking weird, dude.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I just, like, what else, outside of joining up with the other Mandalorians, what else is Din to do? Unless
obviously we're working towards this whole he should be Mandalore and Thrawn is coming type of situation.
And or continuing Boba Fett's reign on other planets. Maybe he'll be a quote-unquote ambassador of Boba Fett on another planet and say, hey, he got Tatooine all sorted out. Yeah. You guys should jump on board. And that's maybe how it starts.
Yeah.
So it'll at least have a leg to stand on with why Grogu's back already. But yeah, it has to quickly get into Mandalorian culture. It has to.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, Davey says things that we expected from season 3 we kind of already got in Boba Fett. Yeah, and I'm critical of that because I just surprised that they explained away the entire point of season 2 is why I'm surprised. But on a positive note, that means it's wide open for season 3. Like I don't have any expectations. I'm not sitting
Which
here,
is nice.
Yeah, I'm not waiting to see like he's probably going to reunite with Grogu. How's that going to happen? Then I'm expecting what's going to, take place in season 3. Right now it's a blank slate, so it could go kind of anywhere.
Well, and what's his face is going to probably be back because they didn't kill him. Moff Gideon. Maybe he breaks out.
I expect like a good old Hannibal Lecter style scene with him. Like, hey, we need to get this information from
yes.
one person or another. I'm going to go visit him in the prison in the New Republic territory and fucking figure out.
Yeah.
Something like that.
This is the first time that I haven't even really thought about it. I've been so focused on Kenobi
same.
and what that's going to be. Yeah, I really don't know. I agree. If they're gonna, dude, I would be ecstatic if they pulled that direct scene from Hannibal Lecter or from Silence of the Lambs, where it's like a slow turn and then you see the cell and he's just standing right there and you're like, "Fuck."
Hello, Din.
Hello, Din.
Doesn't have the same ring to it, but yeah, homages like that to some other cinema would be fun.
Yeah, because he knows they can't get rid of him. He knows too much, and he can be useful if they can get the information out of it. Now, of course, he's going to leverage that and get out somehow, or be like, I tell you what, I'll help you if you'll let me go or clear my name out of XYZ.
Right.
But he'll turn his back on him at the last second.
They haven't really cracked open the whole cloning thing.
Yeah,
like,
that's what
they went to a cloning facility.
Yeah.
And Moff Gideon wanted Grogu's blood for something. But they haven't really cracked open the whole, like, Palpatine's back, or he's about to be back, or the Empire is, working on this project. Like, we've just gotten hints. And if they're going to pursue that at all, like, season 3 is a good place to do it, because we haven't really had that, like, full confirmation yet.
Just like general themes, what's going through my head right now with everything that could happen is the word that keeps coming back is bloodline.
Yeah.
And what I'm thinking of is clone bloodline, Mandalorian bloodline, cloning, like actual cloning Grogu's bloodline. Mm-hmm. I feel like there is a huge vein that we could ride. What's right? Who's the true Mando? Is Boba Fett a Mando? Is he not? He's been shunned by other Mandos, but are they true Mando? Like, it's all over the fucking place. So, and then of course Thrawn is the other tease that we've got. So, I'm assuming Gideon is working for someone. He's a Moff, but he's not a Grand Moff. Or is he? No, he's just Moff.
He's just regular old Moff, but he's working for Palpatine, I think.
Palpatine's dead.
Yeah, but Palpatine is cloned.
It's always been him.
Of course.
Palpatine hasn't been cloned? What are you talking about at this point? Palpatine's dead.
We don't have... Yes, but follow my train of thought here.
Snoke, it's always been him.
It's always been Jon Snow. I don't know why his name popped into my head.
Jon Snoke.
So we're talking about Din Djarin. So Mando takes place after Return of the Jedi, and then we have another 20-ish years before the sequel trilogy. I guess my question is, and why I'm bringing up Palpatine being cloned, is like, how soon after he fell down the chute in 6 was he then brought back to life? Like, was his spirit just fucking around for like 20 years? And then they figured it out and they dropped him into a body? Or like in Legends, his spirit went to one of his like clone bodies like right away.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good point. I don't know.
Because like he could be like he went to a clone body and he's like trying to get nursed back to health until, or he's fucking, right after episode 6, he's in the same state as he is in Rise of Skywalker. But he just stays in the shadows and builds up the fleet and just doesn't do anything for 30 years.
Well, he could also have pulled blood from himself, pulled his DNA, so when he does die, his minions take that blood and find a suitable body.
That's true.
and,
Yeah.
and inject it later. So it's not like they have to start growing a Palpatine right away. They can just take him. Or, like you said, they could completely skip over the essence transfer part of it and just say, hey, well... And they could legitimize it because he's so old because it's the advanced aging. So even if they do, like, clone him, he'll just age
so
extremely
weird
fast. I don't know.
It's such a weird thing to think about. But, like, yeah, like, if you have vials of his blood and you make a new clone based on that, is it the same guy?
No, it's just the same guy. It's a copy. It's not a... Like, the experiences and the knowledge don't transfer. It's just the same body,
yes,
I would assume.
But based on what we see in Rise of Skywalker, wouldn't we assume that Palpatine has the same experiences of Sheev that we know from... It's always been him since the very beginning?
Well,
Just in a new body?
Davey's saying it is canon that like he just shifts bodies in 6. So he...
Well, that was the old Legends version of it. I don't know if they've like defined a new... That's what I'm saying. Like Mando, like season 3 has potential to explore that territory.
What if he's a nobody? What if he is Gideon? What if he's like he transfers into a body, but literally only like 12 people in the entire universe, in the entire galaxy are going to know, hey...
like what if he just starts like Voldemort, like jumping into
what
people
if he's
that are actually alive?
Undercover Palpy. He's undercover bossing the Death Star 3. But that's what I'm saying. Like he doesn't have to look like himself. He transfers into some body and then lives out the next 10 years just under being some dude. Gaining knowledge, gaining strength, getting followers again, pulling the strings.
Probably pissed that his followers haven't figured out how to clone a body yet. He's like, God damn it! Now I got to sit and I'm just going to go into a stormtrooper for a couple months. Fuck.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, pick out some evil dude. See, this is how they ruin things, though. What my mind went to is who are we leading to? Thrawn. What if they suggest that he essence transfers into Thrawn, and that's why Thrawn's so strong. That's how they ruin things.
Thrawn's too strong-willed for someone to essence transfer into his own body.
I don't know. I think if you go through the butt, it's much stronger.
Whatever orifice you use has different resistance.
It hits you harder. The butt transfer.
That's a fucked up thing to think about when they're trying to clone bodies. Like, hey, have you tried this route before? Did the cloning work better going this way?
Did you shake the vial before you injected it? Sometimes you got to shake it.
Wow.
Don't shake it too hard, though. They'll come out cross-eyed.
Don't drop it. They'll come out non-force sensitive at all. He's a goddamn Dianoga. Wow. Yeah, Star Wars has the potential to go down some weird avenues. It's in a weird state, man. I feel like there was once upon a time I knew like almost everything about Star Wars. And now I wouldn't say my knowledge is slipping, but now it's just with so much, I guess there's not so much, but with new material I'm just like, it's in a different state. I don't know everything.
Well, the weird thing is they explain so much through the like comic book series, and which are just going crazy. They're all over the fucking place. Like
That is one thing they are pumping those fucking things out, man.
They're pumping them out.
There's new comics left and right, dude. I can't keep up with it. About twice a year, I get excited. I'm like, I'm gonna get some comics, and I go into the comic book store. I'm like, there's 40 of them, and they all say issue 1. What the fuck? They
all titled Darth Vader.
There's 40 of them. They all say Star Wars. They're all issue 1. They all say out this week, brand new. And I'm like, I don't know where to start. I'm gonna leave. Goodbye. Thank you.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't get it, man. There's just certain things my mind doesn't comprehend, and that's one of them.
Yeah.
The way comic series are organized. I don't get it.
Yeah. No, I agree. And there are like 5 Darth Vader ones, and like 3 of them are new. Mm-hmm. Why the fuck would you do that? There's no reasoning. There's
different
no reason to
too.
do. Yeah.
I mean, they're all like, they're not disjunct, but one of them's like post episode 3. One of them's like post episode, 4. In between the original trilogy, whatever.
The in-between.
The in-between. I remember one of them started out where like Vader went to Jabba's palace looking for Luke, and he fucking killed everybody.
Yep. That's the one where he teams up with Sabe.
Yep. Oh,
It's
yeah.
bad. It's bad.
I'm going to avoid that one.
And he
Not
goes
that I'm ever going to go
He
back
talks to
to
the lava spider on Mustafar to gain the knowledge.
Oh, yeah. See, they reuse that concept art some places.
Yeah. It's definitely a weird one. That's the one I will always go back to. Vader. If you could keep pumping out Vader comics, if I can find which ones to read, I will read them. So I don't fucking know.
Yeah. He's one of the hold steadies in Star Wars, at least.
Yeah. So I will update everybody because I know everybody's waiting for me to watch Spider-Man. It has finally come out on digital. I haven't watched it yet, but it is scheduled for this fucking week. So by next episode, we'll be able to go balls deep.
Nice.
So I just want to apologize to everybody because it's been a while. I need to see Batman. Oh, I feel bad because it's been on the top of my list, and I bought it, pre-ordered it, and then it was pushed back, and then I'm sitting here like, what? When is it gonna fucking come out?
Well, now it's just become a meme. So if you watch it, then the memes are going to end. So give it another couple weeks. Don't watch it.
So
Me and Daco are going to make fun of you in the chat.
Mm.
I want you to watch it. So actually, I knew that it came out on digital because I just saw a commercial for it.
Yeah.
And it actually said the best Marvel movie of all time arrives on digital and Blu-ray.
Wow.
That was the ad. It says the best Marvel movie of all time.
How would you rank it? What are your
It's
top
definitely
three?
up there. It's definitely up there.
So go ahead.
That's an interesting question. A lot of the early Marvel catalog I haven't watched in a while. This is a hard one. I think I would say Infinity War. I might say Infinity War, Civil War, and Spider-Man No Way Home.
I mean, without seeing Spider-Man yet, I'm gonna go Doctor Strange, Endgame.
It's hard,
I'd have to
There's
put
30
in
of them now.
Infinity War, because it's dumb, but Infinity War leads right up to the Endgame, and one wouldn't be great without the other, and it's like, fuck.
Not dumb at all. So my only, I don't want to. We'll do the Marvel movie stuff next time. I can't say anything until you see it.
Yeah.
And I'm sure like by now you may have seen memes or like you know what the movie's about in a general sense. So like it's not totally spoiling anything, but
Yeah.
No Way Home is so good because of the past 20 years of superhero movies.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
It definitely stands on all of that. And that's why it's so amazing. But they were able to take all that and, throw it into something that really is incredible. So the best Marvel movie of all time, I don't know if I would say that. But it is fucking great. So I'm excited for you to watch it.
Yeah.
The only other new film that I saw, and I didn't purposely not watch Dune, but we were going out for a date night and we went to the theaters, and I already saw Batman, and there's really nothing out right now. So we saw Jackass Forever.
Nice.
So we finally watched that. It was good. It's fun. Penises everywhere. Penises and balls everywhere. It was
Dicks.
jarring.
Jarring.
It was. I mean, they've always been part of the roster on Jackass, but I feel like it was to the
Overdicked.
nth degree this time. Definitely an overdicked film. Yes.
Now that I'm looking at the MCU universe here, all the films, I'm surprised that you didn't put Guardians of the Galaxy anywhere in the top.
It was for a while,
but
and
you
I
didn't
actually
put it there. You didn't.
I know
put
I
it there.
didn't. And one of the first ones I thought of when you asked me that was Doctor Strange. I'm a huge fan. But you got to take everything into consideration. And when there's 30 fucking goddams, it's hard to put them in order.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3.
And now I feel like they're doing more series than movies now.
Wow.
So now you kind of got to put the series up there in your rankings. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
I feel it.
And you still haven't seen Eternals?
I feel it down in my plums.
Down in the plums. Eternals.
No, I haven't seen Eternals yet. There have been other pressing, or I'm excited to see Eternals, but there are other ones way ahead of that.
Yeah, no, totally. That one's not. You're not really hanging on anything for that one. You could kind of see that whenever. But Spider-Man is a must, and Batman is a must.
Yep.
And
I'm still playing catch up.
So what else we got coming up in the? I have like new releases saved in my calendar, but Halo series on Paramount Plus comes out this week, and unfortunately, I've been seeing really awful things about this.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what anybody expects. So,
I mean, people expect it to be good, man. I don't know.
well, they got.
I mean, these days with like CGI and like movie making and budgets and everything, like
they got a leg up.
To be good.
They got a leg up on Star Wars. At least it came out.
Well, Star Wars series are coming out. Whether they're good or not.
Until they don't.
Until they don't.
Hey, so Kenobi.
Rogue Squadron's a movie. The movies are getting delayed. The series are still coming out.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a trend. Everyone's putting their focus on those series.
You know what's a random one that I am excited to see is Bad Batch 2.
Yeah, is that this year?
Bad Batch Season 2. It's got to be this year.
Doesn't gotta be.
New rumor. Oh, yeah, you're right. They'll delay it.
No, I meant it just came out. Season 1 was last year, so Season 2... I feel like a season every year is not as constant as it used to be. Maybe some of that was COVID, I guess, but...
No, I think it was one of the series planned for this year. Well, of course, we had Boba Fett, Ahsoka, Kenobi, Bad Batch 2, Mando Season 3,
yep.
Cassian, the Mopar series.
Rogue Squadron, prequel.
There was, so there's like 6 series that are supposed to launch over the next like year and a half, and we've gotten one. But Kenobi's right on the cusp, man.
We're on the horizon. I don't know if I'll watch the Halo thing.
I won't. I'm just gonna say that now. I won't.
Yeah, I'm iffy on it. I don't know, whatever. And then Moon Knight is next week, and I am very excited for that one.
Yeah, Moon Knight's unique.
As far as I know, I've never read a comic of him before, but what I looked up after I saw the trailer was, unique. So, Egypt and Marvel. I'm going to watch it.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Cool. Any other... I'm just going to Google Star Wars and see what the fuck happens here.
No, I was just going to ask you before or after you watch Spider-Man, are you going to play Elden Ring? Because you haven't played it yet.
I feel bad. No.
Don't feel bad.
No, I'm not going to play it.
At all? Ever?
No, obviously, I'll play it. I want to jump on it like while you guys are on the high, but I just, what the fuck?
We can help. We can jump in with you whenever you feel like it.
No.
That's the beautiful thing about it.
Davey
said in and fuck around.
Davey says Bad Batch 2 will release shortly after Kenobi and before Andor. So, yeah, it's coming up. I thought that was a fun series, especially with how it ended.
Yep.
I mean, we get to see the destruction of Kamino, which is one of the most like heart-wrenching things because everything has been wrapped around clones for the past 10 years.
Yep.
Everything has been built around fucking clones, which is great. But, we get to see kind of this slap to the face from the Empire, like, fuck, that doesn't exist. What are you talking about, clones?
And I feel like that pushes them into some really interesting new territory for how the clones operate in the Empire.
Right.
Like with Kamino there was always a tie back to the prequels.
Right.
And now that that's been fucking demolished at the end of season 1, now we're really going into like Empire territory with everything.
How brutal.
So that'll be really interesting to see. Yeah.
Now, let me ask you this, because I know probably one of our... what we thought was going to happen, one of our theories was we were going to see Omega in Boba Fett, and it never happened.
It didn't happen in season 1.
Is there going to be a Boba Fett season 2?
I don't know. Maybe. She's got to show up at something. They can't just fucking...
What if she shows up in Mando?
Drop the bomb of another fucking clone of Jango Fett.
She's a Fett.
Not do anything with her. Like, I think she has to show up in live action at some point.
She's Omega Fett.
Omega.
Manga Fett. What if she shows
yes.
up in Mando season 3 and
Well-
Boba Fett's? Listen to this.
Totally.
What if Boba Fett is somehow bloodline hierarchy? That makes Omega the same fucking, and they come in from this different sides, and then they meet.
They fucking sibling rivalry over the throne.
Then they kiss.
Just like Luke and Leia, that's the Star Wars trend. Siblings kiss, and then they rule over everyone else. Targaryens or Skywalkers. What are we talking about? Yeah, I think that's totally possible. I mean, the fact that we got Luke and Grogu and Boba Fett means we can totally get Boba Fett shit in Mando. So I'm not ruling out the Omega appearance this year.
Man,
But-
what a mind fuck. Just think, like, if you're an OT fan
I am
of
kind
any level, and you watch episode 6, to think that like 30 years later, they're
Yep.
gonna be like loosely working together. Like Grogu's the key, and Mando and Grogu are but they're both somewhat on the same side.
Yep.
That's kind of a mind fuck. That's fun to think about.
Mm-hmm.
Because clearly Boba Fett was trying to murder Luke.
Only because it was a job.
He
The
literally
job ended. He was cool.
The Jabba ended.
Oh.
You're welcome.
We have to turn this off now.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is cool. No one thought that back then. It's a world made possible with streaming. They have more flexibility to fuck around and experiment, and I feel like it opens up the door for they're just trying a bunch of new shit. What if we made a series about this and that and that and that?
Well,
That's one thing that comics have been doing for a long time, but like Star Wars, I feel like was, until Disney purchased it, was always like, there's 6 movies, that's it.
And
Obviously,
everything else is below that.
There's expanded universe stuff, but it's like the 6 movies is the thing.
Yeah.
And now they've opened it up to be, they can take more chances. And unfortunately, not all the chances are great, but they can take more chances, which is good.
Well, the other thing is they put more weight with the non-movie stuff. The series, there's a lot of weight there. The series at this point are carrying the movies.
Well, I thought
And
you were
not-
going to say the opposite, where back in the day it was like 3 movies in a decade, and there was so much weight on just those 3. And
Right.
now if they do 3 different things a year, it takes a bit of the pressure off.
Well, I'm just saying more like the expanded universe back in the day didn't hold any weight. It was fun to read. You read a Plagueis book. That's fun. But no movie storyline ties into that, like, well, I
Yeah.
mean, loosely, and it
Well,
adds
that's
a
the-
little bit. But I'm saying, like, the media now, the comics, the novels, and the series are bridges to the movie, between the movies now. So they're literally, like, carrying a lot of what we've seen, especially with the Disney era stuff.
Yeah.
Like, if you watch episodes, I don't know. I don't fucking know, dude. My point is, we've seen 7, 8, and 9. I guarantee you, after we watch these series, it's going to lead directly into 7, 8, and 9, and we're going to have a much better understanding
Oh, yeah.
of how we got
3
from 6 to 7.
3 years from now when all these series are wrapping up, yes.
Yeah, yeah.
When we get,
And-
2025, when we're getting like the season finale of like Ahsoka and Rangers of the New Republic, yeah, it's going into episode 7 for sure.
Well, think about, and I feel like what sparked all this, oh no, was the Clone Wars cartoon. Because we had the prequels, and then the Clone Wars cartoon was that bridge between the prequels and the OT. And they kept just stringing a shit ton of people, storylines, all these people.
Well, that's
And
how
now-
that's how they got to do it, man.
It's not. I'm not complaining about that. It's a switch.
No, I like it.
It's definitely a switch of mindset, and
Yeah,
I like it.
I do. You know,
I'm trying to think of what other
So it is what,
what
it is.
other universe relies heavily on non-movie.
Well, before superhero movies became fucking massive,
Sure. Yeah, I get
I
it.
feel like everything relied on not movie material.
But it's so muddied in a great way and kind of like a weird way where if you watch certain Star Wars things, you may not understand unless you've read or played the games or, you know, it's you know what I'm saying?
I do know what you're saying because my argument would be like sequel trilogy. I feel like you could watch that by itself, and that is its own thing. And seeing the first 6 will add more to it, but you're not going to be lost when you're focusing on Rey and Kylo. That's the thread. You'll get it from those 3 movies. That's fine.
But at the same time,
But
7, 8,
Boba Fett, like only, and that's my whole thing with No Way Home is like maybe it is the best Marvel movie and it's fucking awesome.
No,
but
case in point.
Okay, go ahead.
Case in point, Emperor's back in Episode 9.
Right. But the Emperor shows up in Episode 6, and you're like, where the fuck did he come from?
He's always been there. He's been around.
But you don't. Yeah, but you don't. Oh, you just hear about him until he finally.
I
shows
know,
up.
but my point is, we kill him off, and he's back 40 years later.
But if you watch 7, 8, and 9, you don't know that he was killed off. He just shows up, just like he does in 6. He just.
But that's an issue in story writing. I'm saying if you want to know why or how he's back, you can't find that in the movies that you just watched.
Right, you can't find it in the original trilogy either.
Well, in the original trilogy, the Emperor was a dude.
Right, but if you want to know why is he the Emperor? Why does he control everything? You don't know that.
Right. He was just a bad guy. I'm just
Right,
you're trying to make sense of
guy.
You're just trying to make sense of something that's ridiculous, and it's not working.
It is ridiculous. I'm just saying that the trilogies, you can watch the 3 of them by themselves, and you'll get a complete story.
Hmm. Yeah, of certain characters.
Well, of the
because you don't know
in that story.
You don't know who or why Kylo went to the dark side. You don't know who or why Snoke is Snoke. You don't know who or why the Emperor's back. You don't know who or why.
I know, but you see what's going on. If you watch just the original trilogy, you don't know why Darth Vader's bad. He's just a bad guy.
Yeah, you're right. That's why we get the prequels. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. But you're wrong in most of the rest of the. You see what I'm saying here?
Hey, I can be. It's okay. Fine.
No, I mean, no. All
right,
I'm done with that. Appreciate it, guys.
$2.95.
2 for 5. 5 for 5.
Only $2.95 or $300. We're almost at 300. What the fuck, bro?
Holy fuck!
All right, stopping recording, savages. Bye. All right, everyone. Thank you and good night.
Take some.